Next matter is the State of Michigan versus Brent Fuel, file 25-43654-SM. Set for a status conference.
Yeah, Larry Brown on behalf of Mr. Fuel.
All right. I do see Mr. Fuel is with us. Do we have a resolution to this matter, Mr. Brown?
There has been an offer, Your Honor, I believe, to plead pursuant to the 7694A, and we are going to take advantage of that today.
Is that an accurate statement, Ms. Brucker?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Fuel, the offer to you is to plead as charged to domestic violence, but under the statute which allows the case to be dismissed if you successfully complete your probation. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. There are certain rights that you have right now that you'd be giving up if you enter a plea according to that agreement. So I want you to listen carefully so that you can make an informed decision. Right now, you have the right to plead guilty, not guilty, or to stand mute. You have the right to have your attorney, Mr. Brown, continue to represent you at this hearing and also in the future at any trial. You have the right to see, hear, and question all the witnesses against you. You have the right to call witnesses to speak for you at trial and get an order from the court requiring witnesses to attend and give testimony. You have the right to be a witness for yourself. You also have the right to remain silent. And if you choose to remain silent, that silence cannot be used against you. You'd also have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt and have that burden of proof beyond the prosecutor at all times. Finally, you also have the right to automatically appeal any trial. However, if you enter a plea, you'd be limited to asking the court for permission to appeal, and that might not be granted. Do you understand all of those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about any of those rights?
No.
You understand that if you enter a plea today, that you'd be giving up or waiving those rights other than your right to an attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Knowing all of those rights, is it still your desire to enter a plea today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I need you to raise your right hand so I can take some testimony from you. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. You can put your hand down, sir. Has anybody promised you anything or threatened you in any way in order to get you to plead today?
No, Your Honor.
Are you doing this of your own free choice and free will?
I am.
Have you been threatened in any way to get you to plead today?
No.
The charge against you reads that on or about April 21st of 2025 in Bagley Township of Otsego County, that you did make an assault or an assault battery upon Meredith Ellen Fuel, your spouse. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
What did you do to commit an assault or an assault battery upon Meredith?
We had prior arguments that day through text. We quit talking about Dune. I came into the house into argument. I left into the garage. I then left my stepdad, sold a few things, came back into the house, became argument again. I went out into the garage, had a few drinks, came back into the house, thought she'd be asleep by then, and she wasn't. And we became very argumentative right in the hallway. She screamed at me, I screamed at her, and I wanted to end it, and it didn't end. And I basically pushed right through her, and I think I knocked her to the ground and trying to get into the shower. I just wanted to end, and it didn't end. So
you physically put your hands on her and by force knocked her to the floor?
I don't know if my hands touched her exactly, but I did knock her to the ground, I think, by shoulder.
Yeah, you used your body and the force of your body to knock her to the floor. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Do either attorney have any further questions as to a factual basis?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right. And I do have one other question. And this Meredith Ellen Fuel, that's your spouse, sir?
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And that occurred here in Otsego County?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I do find that you've given me a proper factual basis and that you've admitted the use of a battery by physical force against the will of Meredith while in Otsego County, and that Meredith was your spouse at the time. So I will accept your plea. I find that it was knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily given from the answers of the questions that you responded to. Let me catch up on my paperwork.
Judge, the victim is in the waiting room.
You could put her in, that would be great.
Just allowed her in.
Thank you. Ms. Bruker, with the victim's presence, do you want to proceed directly to sentencing, or do you think that would not be appropriate?
Let me ask Ms. Weber, is she prepared to make a statement today?
I believe she is. She has a written statement as well that we can provide the court.
All right, if you could email that to Mr. Horrigan, and then I can take a minute to read that while she's talking to me. Ms. Fiol, we just got done taking a plea to the charge of domestic violence from Brent Fiol under the statute, which allows for the case to be dismissed if he successfully completes probation. Do you have any questions for the court about that?
I do not have any questions. Thank you.
All right. Typically then, because you are present, we would proceed to sentencing today. Mr. Brown, is that okay with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. At sentencing, Ms. Fiol, you would have the right to make a statement to me. Now, I understand that you made a written statement, but you could also make a verbal statement to me. Do you wish to make a verbal statement, or do you want me to just go based on what you've submitted in writing so far?
I would like to give my statement if I can.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and do that right now, ma'am?
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Today, I'm going to use my voice, not in fear, not in submission, but in truth and strength. You've hurt me, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. You've made me question my worth. You've made me feel unworthy of love and peace. And with your actions, you've taken away years of my life, years I should have lived with dignity and hope. Bruises fade and time blurs the hateful words into nothingness, but the trauma stays with me. I carry it in my bones. I don't sleep. I don't eat. The damage that's been done will take me the rest of my life to undo. So I'm reclaiming my life, and I wish I would have done it a long time ago. I begged for help, and it felt like nobody listened. The betrayal is something my mind continues to struggle to comprehend. This statement isn't about revenge, it's about truth. You've shown no empathy for what's transpired between us, and that I expected. My babies and I deserve peace. We deserve freedom and healing. And most of all, we deserve to live without fear. And this is the last time you'll get to hear my pain, because from now on, my life will be mine again. My ask of you, Brent, is to please do the self-work and reflection it will take to do better for our sweet and innocent daughter. She still has a chance to know a childhood free of alcohol and chaos, and she deserves that more than anything. Don't let your hate for me ruin her future. You can still make things right for her, so please don't get in your own way. Take responsibility and do the hard work, and I know you can do it, and I know you have good to give. My ask of the court is to extend the protections in place for me and my children so we can continue to navigate our new life together. I want to be able to co-parent with Brent calmly and effectively in the future. However, right now is too soon. Brent is not an inherently bad person, but he's made objectively bad choices that have brought us here today. I believe a root cause of that is alcohol. I personally have had my own childhood destroyed by alcoholism, and watching it steal my children's childhood is incredibly painful. He needs support and therapy. Please help me and my kids by getting him the help that I've been begging for years now. And I would also like to add that this piece of legislature that allows for him to have a deferred sentence feels like an injustice to myself. He won't have to carry this forever, but I will. Thank you.
Ma'am, I appreciate those words. That was very well said. Are you currently in any kind of counseling, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. I believe that it is something that you can put behind you. So I know that you've indicated that this is going to stick with you for the rest of your life, and it may. I can't tell you that it won't. but I can tell you that it can be placed in the rearview mirror, and that you can get on with your life, and you can enjoy your kids, you can enjoy other relationships, you can enjoy those things that are near and dear to you. And I hope that that does occur for you in the future. Counseling is sometimes a large portion of that for you as well. And I would obviously I can't order you to do that, but it is my suggestion to you that you engage in that and continue to engage in that so that you can have the peace that you're asking for. So I do appreciate your comments. All right. Mr. Fiel, I'm going to ask the attorneys now to give me their thoughts on what the potential sentence should be. And then I'm going to give you an opportunity at the end to tell me your thoughts as well. So Ms. Brucker, what do you recommend by way of sentence?
Judge, I just wanted to note for the court that the written statement we sent down echoes what Ms. Fiel just read to the court.
I
so
saw
the court
that.
has information.
Yeah, and I do have that now. So thank you to the victim advocate for sending that to us. I appreciate that.
Judge,
ahead,
I would ask that the court consider ordering that he participate in batterer's intervention. I hear Ms. Fiel's statement, and in the report, it indicates that alcohol was a factor. So I'd ask the court to use its discretion to determine whether some additional programming regarding alcohol would be necessary. And I would ask that the court also just order the other standard terms and conditions of probation.
All right, Mr. Brown, allocution.
Your Honor, Mr. Fiel is 35 years old. This is very first offense. And while I understand what the victim is stating here, I do believe that Mr. Fiel would benefit from some counseling as well. I think I did go over that with him, and hopefully they can at least work together. Apparently they do have a child together, so they are going to need to work together at some point, and hopefully the counseling will facilitate that so they can mend and hopefully repair some of those issues.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fiel, you have the right to address me prior to sentencing. Is there anything that you want to say, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. There's been a lot of issues prior to this, and it wasn't just a one-off thing. There was other things going on with her friend and health issues going around, and she's been having a lot of issues. And then with the ice storm, our house got heavily damaged. We have holes in our roof. We got shattered windows. The vehicles got hit. The barn's destroyed. So there's a lot of things going on. She ended up moving out for 3 months, trying to make it work. And during that time, I participated in free will to an 8A class because she thought it was the alcohol. And I never thought it was, because it wasn't that often of an occurrence. It was any time that it was screaming was involved, because I'm non-confrontational. Anybody that knows me knows that I do not like confrontation. I'll walk away from it. So if I get too worked up, sort of thing, that's when I would drink, sort of thing. So during that time, I went to an AA class, I think for a little over a month, and continued to not drink for, I think, a couple months after that. She moved back in. Things seemed to go great. We actually went on work events together where we had drink together, and she seemed to be okay with that. And then this particular night, it was about alcohol, and she blew up on me about that. So I don't see a lot of issues with, I work hard for a living. I support my family and my kids. I'm a family man. So this is, I get what I did is absolutely off and wrong. But there's more to it than just simply that.
So what caused the violence?
That night?
Are you telling me that there were more nights?
Well, there was screaming. But that particular night,
I asked about the violence.
The violence there, that was only that night. That particular night, she followed me. I couldn't get away from it. So if I went into another room, she would follow me into that room. If I walked outside, she'd follow me outside. That particular night, I went to my stepfather's. He actually bought a chainsaw off me. I came back and I got accused of cheating. And I wanted her to call my stepfather to prove where I was at, and she said that she wouldn't because he would lie for me. So that's when I went right back out to the garage, trying to get away from the chaos. And I walked back into it. And I felt like I was covered in grease. I wanted to take a shower. She would not get out of my way. And that's what led to I made a decision. I was taking a shower and I went there.
Sounds like there's a little more than just alcohol to be solved in your life at this moment.
Correct.
I hope that this is a wake-up call for you, Mr. Fiol.
It is.
In more than just your relationships. If you're going to say, I can't deal with confrontation, and I get it, there are some people that don't deal with that well, but life is full of confrontations.
Right.
You can't just walk away and expect other people to give up on what their point is and what they want to see happen.
Correct.
So if that's good, I'm sorry, I'm talking, you're going to have to wait.
Sorry.
If you're going to use that as a mechanism, then you're going to be disappointed in many, many aspects of your life. So you got to come up with a better way to deal with conflict.
Okay.
Anything else that you want to tell me, sir?
No, sir.
All right. I'm going to put you on probation for a year because I think you've got quite a bit of work to do, and it's going to take you that long to do it. It's going to cost you $360 as an oversight fee. There's a crime victim fee of $75, a justice assessment of $50, court costs of $200, a local fee of $15, and a fine of $100. You may perform community service work in lieu of the fines and costs at the discretion of the probation office. This is under a Ms. Brooker, is this a deferred sentence or delayed sentence? I can never remember which is which.
Deferred.
Thank you. I'm going to ask that I'm going to order that you also enroll and successfully complete a treatment or educational program. You're going to have a substance abuse assessment done and follow those recommendations as to how often you need to go to AA, how often you need to go to counseling, what type of educational classes you might need to go to. So the substance abuse assessment will give us the framework for what the alcohol issue is. I'm also going to require that you go to the men's batterers group. That's a violence and power and control learning lab, if you will, where you're going to get some group and maybe individual counseling as to how to deal with people as opposed to just walking away, and why you may have used violence when you should not have used violence. That's a fairly long class. I believe it's, Ms. Brooker, is that 6 months or is that 9 months?
They usually give it to me in terms of weeks, and it's kind of escaping me right now. I think it's like 30 some weeks or something like that.
All right. So 26 weeks would be half a year. So it is close to somewhere between 6 and 9 months long. You're going to need to successfully complete that group. And that's why I said that you've got some work cut out in front of you. Do you work on a regular basis, Mr. Fiol?
I do.
What's your work schedule?
Anywhere between 7:30 to 8 in the morning till 5:30 to 6:30 at night.
And is that Monday through Friday?
Correct.
All right, then I'm not going to require you to go to the work camp, but on the weekends, I do believe that you need to do some community service work. So I'm going to impose 30 hours of community service work. You'll be able to talk with your probation officer about where you can do that, but typically it's going to be at public service agencies nonprofit organizations, the animal shelter, the food bank, food pantry, those kinds of places. And that's for you to give back to the community because you've taken something from the community by committing this crime. While you're on probation, there's no consumption or possession of alcohol or drugs. There's no entrance into business where alcohol is served by the glass. That means there's no bars. Even if the bar happens to serve food, you can't go into the bar. You can go into a restaurant that happens to serve alcohol. You can't go into the alcohol use portion of the restaurant, though. Do you understand?
I do.
All right. There will be testing at the discretion of probation department. That means that they can ask you to test whenever and however and how often they want to. There will be no assaultive, abusive, intimidating, or threatening behavior. I'm not going to put you in jail. However, if there's any violations of this probation, jail is highly likely. And you may not have any contact with Meredith. I don't know the status of your current relationship and whether or not there's going to be a divorce or how that's going to go. If there is any custody or parenting time or divorce court orders that conflict with this case, you can always come back and ask for this case to be modified in some way to comply with the parenting time or custody or divorce court order. Typically, the divorce court would not require you to have contact with Meredith other than for parenting time issues. So that's what I'm talking about. So if there is a future parenting time or custody order that allows you to have contact with your child or your children, and you need to have contact with Ms. Fuel to do that, typically it'd be limited to just the parenting time issues. You understand all of that?
Yes.
If you have any questions in the future, make sure you contact your probation officer. She'll be able to explain those things to you as well. All right, Ms. Brucker, is there anything else that you would have me order in this case?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Field, do you understand everything that I've ordered you to do?
Yes, I do. Could you give me a total in court fines, please?
Yep. I've got $800. You'll have the time period for the whole year to pay that off.
Okay, I'll pay it in full. And then also, I do have a question. My house does have a hole in the roof, and we are under we have an open estimate on the house. How do I go about fixing the house, things like that? And then all my belongings are in the house.
Well, do you have a third person that could go there and gather your belongings?
Well, I have a very expensive tractor with a lot of implements, and a trailer that should be loaded by myself. And then I also have a lot of other things there that I'm in need of. Most of my clothes, a lot of belongings. And then my main concern is that I'm stuck out of a home that I'm paying for. I pay for that mortgage. I pay for her vehicle payment. You know, I'm paying for other things as well. And I'm also paying for another means of living as well. And that's a huge concern of mine.
As well, it should be. That's what happens when you do criminal things. You're going to need to talk to your lawyer, and your lawyer can then talk to the victim advocate and may be able to work out something. Otherwise, you're going to have to have someone else go to the house and grab your things. But you can't have any contact with Ms. Field. If she wants to, I'm not going to negotiate these things for you. That's not my job. So
Correct.
You're going to contact your lawyer. Go ahead.
I just didn't know if I could have the police go with me.
Your
get my-
lawyer will be able to assist you with
Okay.
that. There is such a thing as a civil standby, but they're not going to do it for a long period of time. And they're not going to do it multiple times. So
Correct.
speak with your lawyer about those things, and I'm sure he'll be able to help you. All right, that's all for today then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more crazy court hearings like this one.